Forget the Hollywood movies. Modern warfare doesn't begin with air raid sirens. It begins with silence. 2012. Iran. Disconnected from SWIFT overnight. The rial loses 50% of its value. No bombs, no invasions, just code. 2022. Russia. $300 billion in foreign reserves frozen. Not seized in a raid. Not stolen by hackers. Frozen by permission denial. 2024. Question mark. Who's next? This is not speculation. This is history. In this era, superpowers don't need to send troops to your border. They hold something far more efficient. A switch. Today, the Global Lens Network will dissect what we call the invisible prison, place where we live, where we take pride in our independence, where we believe we are sovereign. But in reality, we are simply users granted temporary access. Let's begin the autopsy. Let's start with the device in your hand right now. We talk a lot about technological sovereignty. We hear about nations building their own chips, their own operating systems. But let's look at the naked truth. Inside those so-called independent devices, the chip architecture is still ARM. Western origin, the extreme ultraviolet lithography machines that print those chips, still controlled by patents from America and its allies. We're not breaking out of prison. We're just changing our warden. Now, GPS. Many people fear America will simply turn off GPS. The reality is far more subtle. They use a technique called selective availability. In simple terms, they deliberately blur the signal. Instead of 1 meter accuracy, they dial it up to 100 meters for unfriendly regions. Just that small adjustment, defense missiles become fireworks. Logistics apps collapse. Ride-sharing networks freeze. We are building our house on someone else's digital land. And the landlord can redraw the property lines anytime. But here's the question. Is this wall truly impenetrable? Look at China's SMIC, completely banned from accessing modern EUV lithography machines. So what did they do? They used older DUV machines. They ran multi-patterning processes, layer by layer by layer. Slower? Yes. More expensive? Absolutely. But they produced 7-nanometer chips. This proves something critical. Technology can be delayed, but it cannot be stopped forever. The prison has bars, but the inmates have started forging their own files. If technology is the nervous system, then finance is the bloodstream. SWIFT, the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, processes 42 million transactions every single day. 90% of the world's banks depend on it. It's like the only toll booth on the global highway. Being cut off from SWIFT? That's economic necrosis. But let's talk about the cracks. Look at India. Quietly, almost invisibly, they built UPI, the Unified Payments Interface. This system now processes over 10 billion transactions per month. That's more than Visa and MasterCard combined. In their domestic market, that is living proof. A nation can build its own financial circulatory system. Independent of New York, independent of London. Takes time. It's difficult, but it's possible. However, for the rest of the world, the reality remains brutal. When a nation is removed from SWIFT, they're like a person whose internet just got cut. They can't receive payment for oil. They can't pay for medicine. The blood stops flowing. Economic necrosis begins. And here's the paradox. Even when we hate the empire, even when we despise their dominance, when crisis hits, what do? We sell our local currency. We buy dollars. We buy gold. And that very action reinforces the bars of this prison. The final weapon, and perhaps the most controversial, people. According to the U.S. National Science Foundation, nearly 50% of all STEM PhDs in America are foreign-born. Where do they come from? India, China, Russia, Iran, and dozens of other nations. We used to call this brain drain. We export our geniuses in exchange for iPhones. But something is changing. A new phenomenon is emerging. Brain circulation. Why are Shenzhen and Bangalore exploding with innovation? Because engineers who worked in Silicon Valley are returning home. They bring back knowledge. They bring back management frameworks. They bring back networks from the very heart of the empire. Here's the irony. The American education system is accidentally training its own greatest future competitors. This prison doesn't just confine. It also trains the most talented escape artists. So, the complete picture. Are we living in a tightly designed system built to maintain unipolar dominance? Yes. But is the picture one of total despair? No. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. We are beginning to see the fractures. From SMIC's 7-nanometer breakthrough, from India's UPI system processing billions of transactions, from open-source software replacing proprietary black boxes. The speed of change is slow. It might take 50 years. It might take 100 years. We cannot demolish this prison overnight. But we are laying the first bricks of a new house, right next to the old one. Brick by brick, line of code by line of code, transaction by transaction. History has taught us one absolute truth. No empire lasts forever. Every monopoly eventually faces competition. Every prison eventually faces resistance. The walls are cracking. The question is not if change will come. The question is, what will replace the old order when it finally falls? Will it be a multipolar balance? A new form of cooperation? Or will it be chaos? This concludes Archive Entry 003. The system is cracking, but if it collapses, what new order will emerge? Or will there be only disorder? The answer will be decoded in Archive Entry 004. Subscribe to ensure you're present when that file is unsealed. The Global Lens Network continues.